I may be 47 months pregnant. I may be on bed rest. I may not be able to see my own feet. But I am Dr. Bailey.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the Grey's Anatomy scenes that highlighted and celebrated the strength of its incredible cast of women.
Well, I'm brilliant. If you want to appease me, compliment my brain.
Number 20. Maggie teaches Joe how to bring the thunder. Between dramatic medical storylines and relationship strife, Grey's Anatomy has always been able to bring levity to some intense topics. Consider Dr. Maggie Pierce's impromptu lesson on bringing the thunder.
You don't speak to a patient unless I tell you to. Is that understood?
After she finished chewing out intern Joe Wilson about a miscommunication with a patient, Maggie suddenly switches off her harsh mentor mode, explaining that when a doctor looks young or friendly, she has an uphill battle to be taken seriously.
I just had to bring the thunder.
Pierce recommends Wilson take on a more commanding voice and no-nonsense approach if she wants to get ahead, and also spares her a compliment in the midst of it.
You have to help them understand who they're dealing with. You have to bring the thunder. If you don't do this, you should. You're really pretty.
It turns out to be 2 lessons in one. Number 19. Callie calls out Mark's double standards. Yes, the men at Seattle Grace were dreamy, but sometimes they needed a verbal smackdown. Mark Sloane's anger at Lexi Gray for moving on too quickly with another man looked an awful lot like his own past behavior. If there's one person who moves on from a relationship quickly, it's Sloane. And it took his good pal, Callie Torres, to point that out.
So I was talking to Lexi.
Why? When? Why are you talking to her?
No, she came to me.
Once she did, it made Mark have to be sensible. He wasn't offended so much as he was hurt over their breakup.
She made some good points.
She dumped me and jumped into bed with Karev. She doesn't get to make good points.
Mark, don't you think you're being a little...
What, mad, offended, disgusted?
Hypocritical, sexist, immature?
She dumped me.
But Lexi sleeping with Alex Karev was just the catalyst for him to confront those feelings. Number 18. Bailey goes on sabbatical. Dr. Miranda Bailey seems like an unstoppable force, but even someone as strong as her needs to take a break every once in a while. Overworked and recovering from a heart attack, Bailey does the unthinkable. She takes a sabbatical. For a workhorse like Chief Bailey, the thought of a rest period would have seemed impossible before.
I needed you to do that surgery. I was worried I might nick one of the organs. I needed to be somewhere where I couldn't do any harm.
It wasn't just an important message about listening to the body. The storyline also opened up a conversation about how women's heart attack symptoms are sometimes overlooked, and how women of color are statistically vulnerable to disbelieving doctors.
I need time to get some things straightened out. I need your help.
Number 17. Meredith knows who Joe is. Dr. Joe Wilson comes to Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital with a mysterious past. That past walks into her workplace in the form of her abusive ex, renowned surgeon Dr. Paul Stadler.
I can't believe that you studied under Paul Stadler. Way to keep a secret. See ya.
So, you haven't been talking about me.
The most impactful moment of this storyline is when Meredith, who didn't always get along with Joe, doesn't hesitate to support her. Meredith tells her that nothing Paul can say will change her esteem and respect for her. Joe's fellow doctors rally around her, even as Paul tries to chip away at her integrity and her sense of safety.
You were Joe Wilson. I know exactly who you are.
The show took great care with the subject of domestic abuse, with the episode title itself being the National Domestic Violence Hotline number. Number 16. Cristina didn't want to get married.
I wanted to be you. The best thing that ever happened to me was you walking away from our wedding. It made me stand on my own 2 feet.
In season 3, Dr. Cristina Yang is left at the altar by her mentor and lover, Dr. Preston Burke. Devastating as it is, when Burke re-enters her life and offers her a job, she realizes just how much of a gift he gave her by leaving. She didn't want to marry the cardio god, she wanted to be the cardio god. And in a crazy turn of events, he would offer her the chance to do as much at a research hospital in Switzerland. Not as his underling, but as his replacement.
You're offering me your hospital. Like you're Willy Wonka and you're handing me a chocolate factory.
Cheer up, Charlie.
Number 15. Meredith wins the Harper Avery Award. When Grey's Anatomy began, the hospital was full of cutthroat surgeons who would step on each other just to get a chance to take out someone's appendix. In its 14th season, Meredith Grey wins the most prestigious award in their field. The entire hospital shows up to celebrate and honor her contributions, her legacy, and really just her as a person.
Drive to save lives, to make things better. And despite all that she's lost, she continued to find joy in her work. As a surgeon, as a teacher, as a mother.
Not a sour face or ulterior motive is present. Even an apparition of her long-deceased mother, a two-time winner of the Harper Avery Award, appears among the crowd of supporters.
Everything looks perfect from far away. Come down now.
Number 14. Addison and Meredith bond over Derek's death. These two have come a long way from their first meeting. When Addison Montgomery and Meredith Grey disappeared into an elevator after completing a surgery, everyone was sure they were going to hash out years-old resentments. Instead, Addison breaks down as the gravity of her ex's death hits her like a tidal wave.
That I would be able to feel that he was still here. The city that he loved, with the people he loved, but he isn't.
Meredith's compassionate stalling of the elevator recalled all the other times she and their fellow surgeons had to collect themselves and their emotions before facing the hospital floor again.
He is here. And he's seen his children. And they are very real. And I would love for you to come and meet them.
Addison's parting wisdom might just be the best part. Their bond runs deeper than the man they both married.
So if you believe in this next big thing, fight for it.
They are both women devoted to a field where it's especially hard to be just that. Number 13. Meredith stands up to Ellis. From the jump, Meredith Grey lived in the shadow of her mother. The decorated surgeon was hard on everyone in her life, but she was most hard on her daughter. When she wakes up from the fugue of Alzheimer's in this season 3 episode, Ellis expresses once again her disappointment in her daughter.
I raised you to be an extraordinary human being. So imagine my disappointment when I wake up after 5 years and discover that you're no more than ordinary.
Meredith finally stands up to her later in the episode. Finally refusing to live up to her mother's impossible standards, she takes the opportunity to confess all the resentments Ellis's parenting gave her.
You want to know why I'm so unfocused? So ordinary. You want to know what happened to me? You happened to me.
So much of Meredith's story was about stepping out from behind her mother's shadow. It's one of the times she realizes that she can be a great doctor without becoming as cutthroat and unforgiving as her mother. Number 12. Bailey wins the Catherine Fox Award. Season 19 of the long-running medical drama saw Dr. Bailey doing more than her part to preserve reproductive rights and safety in the wake of attacks on women's reproductive health. When she's asked to present the prestigious Catherine Fox Award, she'd probably much rather be back at Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital with the patients who need her. It's exactly that sort of dedication which ends up earning her the award.
Dr. Miranda Bailey, we would love to present you with the Catherine Fox Award for your significant contribution to medicine this year.
Her genuine shock and realization that she's not there to present the award, but to receive it, is a true tearjerker. As the glue that holds the hospital together, it's a culmination of every great thing she's done over the years.
Okay. Oh my God. It's been such a long year. Okay.
Number 11. Callie stands up for who she is.
Sorry things got so... But the fact that you came... Daddy's that Father Kevin?
In this moment from season 6, Callie stood up to her father when he tried to condemn her sexuality. He came to the hospital hoping to fix her, but instead of folding under the pressure, she fought back, stating that her sexuality and religious beliefs didn't conflict.
You think you can pray away the gay?
We can just sit and talk.
Oh, no, you can't pray away the gay.
Though Callie and her father continued to struggle with the topic, he eventually came to terms with it.
Hey, I cut in.
It's all yours.
We find our way back to the things that matter the most.
I was driving to the airport with your mother, and it hit me. I've been looking forward to dancing with you on your wedding day since I first held you into my arms, so I turned the car around and came back. So, here I am, to have this dance. with my daughter.
This powerful moment proved that it's okay to be proud of who you are, especially when it comes to being part of the LGBTQ+ community.
Blessed are those who have been persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus is my savior, Daddy, not you. And Jesus would be ashamed of you for judging me. He would be ashamed of you for turning your back on me. He would be ashamed.
Number 10, Meredith declares her independence. Meredith and Derek have been through a lot together. Lies, sabotage, adultery, and more tragedies than they deserve.
We were in a plane and it crashed. Plane crash.
Where is Derek?
At some points, their relationship was tested to its absolute limits. After a particularly bad fight in season 11, Meredith realizes that although she still loves Derek, she could live without him if she had to.
And I'm going to do everything in my power to prove it.
I can't live without you.
While he was away, she'd thrived as a surgeon and learned to live without him being there. This moment is especially important because it shows that having independence in a relationship is not synonymous with breaking up.
I can't live without you. But I don't want to. I don't ever want to.
Number 9, Cristina does not want a baby.
You know, I think I'm gonna order pizza. If you want, I can get...
I'm pregnant.
Cristina has always been laser focused on her career as a surgeon, prioritizing it over all else. When she married fellow surgeon Owen Hunt, they hadn't yet discussed the topic of children.
I don't want one. I don't hate children. I respect children. I think they should have parents who want them.
So when Cristina mentioned that she had no interest in having children one day, it caused some issues. Despite the arguments that their differences created, she stood by her conviction without wavering.
I made an appointment to terminate the pregnancy.
Though this played a role in their eventual breakup, it was essential to see Cristina not compromise herself in their relationship, standing firm in her decision.
I'm asking you to do something for me. Can you simply consider doing something for me?
Have a baby? This isn't pizza versus Thai. You don't give a little on a baby.
Cristina, I am asking...
I am saying no!
Number 8, Izzy fights back.
Is this you? It is, isn't it?
Prior to her surgical internship at Seattle Grace Hospital, Izzy Stevens worked as a lingerie and underwear model in order to pay off her student loans from med school.
We have Bethany Whisper in our locker room. Oh boy, I guess they do airbrush out the tattoo, don't they?
When her coworker Alex Karev found out, he plastered pictures of her throughout the hospital as a prank. Her response, needless to say, was incredible. She reclaimed her body by showing that she had no shame in it, effectively taking all the power away from the men harassing her.
You want to see it? You really want to see it? Fine. Let's look at that tattoo up close and personal, shall we?
This Grey's Anatomy scene is one that will go down in history as an iconic feminist moment.
You want to call me Dr. Model? That's fine. Just remember that while you're sitting on 200 grand of student loans, I'm out of debt.
Number 7, Meredith calls out Derek.
Hey.
How's my dog?
Much better. Finn's running tests.
Good.
Our dog.
What?
Our dog. You said my dog. He's our dog.
Yeah, whatever.
Are you mad at me or something?
Now's not the time.
We already mentioned that Meredith and Derek have a lot of issues in their relationship, and here's an example of one from early on. After they break up the first time, Derek is furious to learn that Meredith has slept with a string of other men.
I never should have told you about George.
No, it's fine. I'm glad I know about him and the vet. You really get around.
What did you just say to me?
It's unforgivable.
I don't remember ever asking you to forgive me.
Derek's blatant sexism rightfully upsets Meredith, especially since he's the one who left her.
Who's next? Alex? Because I hear he likes to sleep around. You two have that in common.
She rightfully calls him out, telling him that he doesn't get to judge her for how she decided to cope. At least it seems to sink in.
You left me. You chose Addison. I'm all glued back together now. I make no apologies for how I chose to repair what you broke.
Number 6. Cristina tells Meredith she is the sun.
We'll call each other at least twice a month and we'll text all the time.
Text
me. And don't let Owen get all dark and twisty. Take care of him. And Alex, take care of Alex. He needs to be mocked at least once a day or he'll be insufferable.
Meredith and Cristina are each other's person. So when Cristina made her exit on the season 10 finale, it was a tearful goodbye filled with promises, love, and of course, dancing it out.
With the leftover you. And how do you know when to let go?
You love this song!
As Cristina turns to leave, she has one last message.
He's very dreamy, but he is not the sun. You are.
This means first and foremost that Cristina wants Meredith to put herself first, something she's always struggled to do. And that particularly applies to her marriage. However, it's also a subtle callback to Meredith's mother calling her ordinary. By calling Meredith extraordinary, Cristina is essentially telling Meredith that she's proud of her.
You are a gifted surgeon with an extraordinary mind.
They may not be sisters by blood, but that doesn't lessen the bonds these two share. Number 5. Bailey becomes the first female chief of surgery.
I am the chief.
The moment Miranda Bailey became the first female chief of surgery at the hospital was iconic to say the least. Since the beginning of the show, Bailey was a force to be reckoned with.
I need you to handle everything else in the ER. You are in charge. Get used to it.
Yes, sir.
Her interns feared her, her co-workers respected her, and her boss, Richard Weber, knew that she would become chief one day. Throughout 11 seasons leading up to the promotion, Bailey was a lion-hearted leader, teaching her interns lessons while growing herself as well. While there are countless other successful female doctors on this show, many of which are department heads, the moment Bailey became chief was a monumental victory.
So I looked it up, and Bailey's the first.
First what?
First female chief of surgery of this hospital.
Number 4. Meredith fights for equal pay.
I need a me, and I believe that you can be a me for me. I need you to be my me.
The fight for equal pay is not a recent thing. Women have been paid unfair wages for, well, forever. When Meredith learns that she's making a lot less than other department heads, she's hesitant at first to renegotiate her contract.
You earned that job, okay? You need to go back and renegotiate.
I can't. It's too late. I already accepted the offer.
No, walk in there and demand what you deserve. Men do it all the time.
But finally, she steels herself and tells Bailey that she deserves more. Turns out that Bailey was just waiting for her to speak up. She actually agrees with Meredith 100%. Meredith worked hard to get where she's at. She earned her job, and she shouldn't settle for any less.
I can make that happen. Is that all, Gray?
Yep. That's it. Okay. Thanks.
Gray?
Yeah.
Well done.
Number 3. Addressing sexual harassment.
Public perception is everything, and they're going to destroy you if this gets out.
Unfortunately, sexual harassment in the workplace isn't a recent thing either. Grey's Anatomy weighed in on this conversation with the Harper Avery plotline. When multiple women came forward with stories of Avery's sexual harassment, his ex-daughter-in-law Catherine Fox planned to take the fall for it. But Jackson wasn't about to let that happen.
You're fired. You can go now.
Now, wait just a minute.
I will be damned if I'm gonna let my grandfather do to you what he did to all these women.
He and Meredith helped turn the Harper Avery Foundation into the Catherine Fox Foundation, taking the power away from the abuser and putting it into the hands of a capable woman. Even though workplace sexual harassment continues, it was an uplifting and inspiring contribution to the narrative.
We hope you'll join us in supporting with enthusiasm the Catherine Fox Foundation.
Number 2. Amelia is legendary.
To consider the idea that to the tumor, we are the problem. We are the invader. We are the danger. To the tumor, we are the cancer.
We've all stood in someone else's shadow. For much too long, Amelia stood in the shadow of her brother Derek.
This has never been done before. All these steps, in this order, and this kind of tumor has never been done.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Who do I even think I am? Who might even try this?
But in the distance, she faces off against a nasty brain tumor that seems impossible to remove, especially without Derek's help. She's always been the other Dr. Shepard, never held in quite the same esteem. However, when she successfully removes the tumor, she proves to everyone, including herself, that she can stand on her own. It's a moment of pride, power, and independence that teaches Amelia not to doubt herself and speaks volumes about what women can accomplish.
By sending Death running like a crying bitch. By telling Death to screw himself, that is the battle. And it is the only battle worth fighting. You should be on a high right now.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Supporting a patient. A patient named Abby arrives at the hospital after having been the victim of sexual violence. Her story is one that too many women know well, with her reluctance to seek justice feeling devastatingly real.
Abby, it's just you and me. You're hurt. I am here to help.
The show delves into the trauma and realities of her situation, as well as the legal hurdles victims face, and the reasons someone might not come forward right away. Jo shares her own experience as a victim of abuse, and eventually, Abby gives the okay to do the kit.
But one day, you might feel differently. You might want justice, and I want you to have everything you need to do that.
At the end of the episode, Abby is wheeled into surgery as the women of the hospital line the hallways in solidarity to send her off. Did we leave out any memorable moments of sister solidarity? Let us know in the comments.
I'm Dr. Miranda Bailey, Chief of Surgery at Grace Sloan Memorial Hospital. And I approve this message.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.